Did you know that 90% of beginner traders lose money? In this video, I will share with you. I've been in the stock market for 4 years and I made all the mistakes a beginner can do. I lost way too much money that I would like to admit, but in this video, I will share with you how you can avoid all my mistakes and all the things that you actually need as a beginner trader. We will have 5 sections. First, I will tell you how to understand stock trading basics. Then in section 2, I will share you how you set yourself up for success. Third, we'll discuss market analysis. Fourth, how to actually execute your first trades. And the last and most important one, how to create a winner's mindset. First, we need to understand what is the difference between day trading, swing trading, and investing. Where can you make the most money? So day trading is you play on the very short term. On the short term, the market is irrational, is emotional. How shorter you hold your positions, the more emotional the market is. So day trading is nothing else. You hold your positions for maximum 1 day. It can be a minute, it can be 10 minutes, an hour, or the full trading day, but you're cash by the end of the day. A swing trader, on the other hand, they hold their positions overnight, at least for 1 night, and can be a month. So it's a longer time frame, and then the market is less emotional. But if you truly want a rational market, then you go to investing. Investing, you look at the company's fundamental, the underlying reasons why it is a good company. You buy it when the company is undervalued, and you hold it for a long time, 5 to 10 years. But where can you make the most money? And that is a very important question that you need to consider. We've multi-millionaire investors who are telling, I never met a rich technician. Then there's this other story from an incredible successful trader. He said, I only started winning in the market when I started trading. There is not a one-size-fits-all approach to the market. This is what you need to understand. You need to find an approach to the market that suits your personality. What might suit perfectly for me might not suit for you. What might suit for you might not suit for me. This is so important to understand. You have to find a strategy, the approach to the market that suits your personality. There's a lot of people try to sell their system, and it might work perfectly well for them and convince you that they have the perfect system, but the perfect system doesn't exist. You have to figure that out for yourself. What all successful people in a market have in common, they have an edge in the market. That means they have a statistical advantage. If you do this thing over 1 million times, you're guaranteed to make money. Think about it as the roulette wheel. Every time you place a bet on black or white, you might win or lose money. When you do it over 1,000 times, the casino is guaranteed to win. In this metaphor, you are not a gambler. You have to be the casino. You will lose sometimes. If you have a statistical edge in the market, you are guaranteed to win. So when you have decided whether you want to go to day trading, swing trading, or investing, then it's very important to choose the right broker. Bam, play the video. In the world of stocks, there are so many brokers you can choose from, and I will answer the most important question. What broker should you absolutely avoid? You have to think as a broker a bit as choosing a new car. You don't buy a Ferrari just to go dirt racing. Yet, I see so many people choosing the absolutely wrong broker. Watch this video until the end so you make sure you don't make that mistake. In this video, I will tell you the best and the worst broker based on your trading style. It doesn't matter whether you're a scalper, a day trader, a short seller, a swing trader, or an investor. And in the end of the video, I will tell you the brokers I would absolutely never use in my life. First, a scalper. That is someone who's in and out the market instantly. As a scalper, you need fast data, fast execution speed, a reliable platform, and cheap commissions. Because after all, as a scalper, you will trade with a big size. You might be thinking, cheap commissions, let's go to the free brokers like Webull, Robinhood, E-Trade, TD Ameritrade. These free brokers are great for commissions, but terrible for speed, because you need direct access to the market. You need the fastest data. Okay, then what about interactive brokers? Interactive brokers is already a better option, but you're a scalper. Speed is your number one priority. Interactive brokers does not have the fastest data. Interactive brokers does not have the fastest execution platform, and interactive brokers does not have the fastest execution speeds. Remember, speed is your friend. So there are two things you absolutely need. First, a reliable execution platform and a reliable broker. I would recommend you these execution platforms: Desk Trader Pro, Motivewave, Sterling, and NinjaTrader. So what would be the best broker if speed is your priority? Well, Lightspeed. Fast data, great execution platform, low commissions. But there's one thing: if you're just starting to trade, you can only open an account if your first deposit is at least $25,000. If you do not have $25,000, there's two alternatives. The first is for residents of the European Union. If you're a resident of your European Union and you're not able to open an account with Lightspeed, then I would recommend you Alaric Securities. It's a fast, reliable broker, and it works with their own great platform, Hammer, or you can also execute on Sterling. Minimum deposit to trade on margin is just $2,000, and there's also no PDT rule. But if you're in the United States, then your only option might be to go to an offshore broker. That means a broker that is not regulated in the States. Then your best option is Capital Markets Elite. Regulated in one of the Caribbean islands, you won't have a PDT rule, but will be challenging to build a small account because broker is not cheap. Scalping might not be your best option. And then it's probably better to go to day trading or swing trading. So first, day trading, you open and close a position within 1 day. For this specific section, I will go for an execution time frame that is from 5 minutes and above. Speed is still essential. Good execution is still essential. Stay away from those free brokers. What are the best alternative? It's interactive brokers and TradeStation. Both brokers are around for over 40 years. They are reliable. They have decent speed, good executions.
No, the best of all, you can just trade on TradingView.
But these brokers have one big drawback. They're terrible brokers for short selling. Yes, you can short sell easy to borrow stocks, no problem. But if you want to short small cap stocks, hard to borrow stocks, these two brokers are not for you. What you need is a broker who can locate hard to borrow stocks and short them. Then Centerpoint Securities will be the best broker for you. Great speed, low commissions, and they have a big arsenal of hard to borrow stocks. You can trade your short strategy without any problem. Minimum to have is 30,000 US dollars. If you do not have 30,000 US dollars, then your best option is to go to TradeZero. Now, TradeZero has the same drawbacks as a free broker. They're not direct access, their data is slower, execution speeds are slower, but you can short. If you're located outside the United States, you don't have the PDT rule with TradeZero. However, they're regulated in the Bahamas. Then the question is, do you want to risk your capital in a broker that is regulated by the Bahamas? What happens in the case of bankruptcy? A US subsidiary is regulated by the United States by FINRA. Also means as a US citizen, you will fall under the PDT rule. If you want to avoid the PDT rule whatsoever, then your best option is just to swing trade. Now, swing trading basically means you open and you hold that position for over 1 day. It can be 1 night to 1 week to a month. So in that case, speed is no longer your priority. You need something cheap and reliable. So finally, we found a spot for those free brokers. Webull, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade are all perfect for you. A great reliable broker. You don't have to waste your money on execution fees, live data packages, a level 2. And if you're in Europe, your best option is interactive brokers. But what if you're an investor? Well, as an investor, your only concern is cheap commissions or no commissions and no inactive fees. then there are two brokers I would recommend. Of course, all the previous swing trading brokers will also be great for investing. But if I have to pick one that would be the best for investing, I would go for Interactive Brokers Lite. I love Interactive Brokers, their investment interface, and on top of that, they have over 50 years of experience. I would trust them with my hard-earned money. But if you're in Europe, then I would recommend you DEGIRO. DEGIRO is a broker regulated in the Netherlands, cheap commissions, no inactive fees, and is also perfect for an investment portfolio in Europe.
There's also a couple of brokers I would never use in my entire life. CFD only broker. With CFDs you don't own the actual shares, you make a contract with your broker. Therefore that also means you're trading against the broker, and if you're trading against the broker, it is in their best interest that you lose. If you do want to trade CFDs and not the actual shares, please go to a very reliable broker like Interactive Brokers.
Also, I want to make clear, I am not sponsored to say any of this. Everything I'm saying here is based on my own experience, my own research, and on first or second-hand experience, and that's why I feel comfortable recommending you this broker. In the end, a broker is choosing something that is best for you. So make an informed decision, research your broker, and don't put your capital in unnecessary risk. So when you found the right broker for your particular strategy, there is no way out of it. You cannot trade without a plan. You plan your trades and you trade your plan. Now, I can show you my specific strategy.
So you want to know where to find the hottest stocks in the market. Stocks that can go boom, to find the stocks before they explode. How often have you been behind a screen just to see a stock taking off and you not in there? And then by the time you see it, you buy it and it's the high and the stock goes crashing down. In this video I will not only tell you how to find these stocks, but also my favorite strategy to make trades like this. And I will let you know how to trade them in 4 easy steps. You will learn from all my experience, but also from all my mistakes. So let's get ready to take your trading to the next level. So first things first, we start with step 1. If you want to find the hottest stocks in the market, we need to scan for them. There are 3 amazing scanners, the best that money can buy. The first one is Trade Ideas, the second one is Scans, and the third one is Day Trade Dash. But if you're a beginner and you want to learn a new strategy and you want to find the hot stocks without spending any money, no problem, I got you covered. For you freebies out there, I have 3 amazing free scanners especially for you, and I will just show you how I set them up. You go to TradingView/Screener. One is for the pre-market. I have a separate scanner that I use during the market hours in New York time 9:30, because then market opens. My first rule is I want the price to be above $1. The minimum price move should at least be 10 cents. The second requirement, I want to see a significant change. There should be a gap up of at least 2% or a gap down of at least 2%. The third requirement, pre-market volume should be at least 1 million. If stocks going to explode, there need fuel behind it. An explosion happens only when there's fuel, and volume works as fuel to the fire. You want that fuel. And then the relative volume tells you how much more volume is there now compared to the average past trading days. The fourth requirement, I do relative volume in my scanner above 1. That's the least requirement for large caps. Small caps above 5. Make a difference between small cap stocks and large cap stocks. Small cap stocks is basically just a small company. It means a market capital that less than 700 million. Less a large cap, I consider a stock that has a market capitalization that is more than 1 billion. The last factor I look at is the float. The float means what are the shares available to trade. When there are less shares available to trade, then you can have these massive squeezes up with low float stocks. So what I consider a low float stock is lower than 10 million. From lower than 2 million you have a micro float stocks, and micro float stocks, especially when you're beginning to trade, please stay away from that. I don't really have necessarily float requirements in my scanners, but I take them into account. What can I expect from this trade? How crazy can this stock go? So in other words, the hottest stocks are one with a low float and a lot of volume. The scanner I use during the market hours are just a bit different. This time the volume has to be at least 2 million, the price should be at above 2, and I want the stock to make a new 1 month high. But if you don't want to put all that effort in there, there's just an easy alternative that is as good as all of these premium scanners. Just a YouTube live stream. Type in Zendo Live Scanner and you will have a beautiful live scanner of all the momentum stocks that are for you available. The main requirement that I'm following is volume is so important. Has the stock less than 1 million, I don't even look at it. Then I check the float and I check the market capital. So I have a better idea what is going on here. A scan is just a scan. You need to find the right stocks to trade. And you make a selection, and the best of your selection you put on your watch list. So now you have your whole list of stocks. Perfect. And then open their charts. And then I first go take a look at the daily chart. Is there no major resistance? Is there enough room? Only when the daily chart looks good, I go to the intraday chart. If you do not know how to drive support and resistance level, or what are the things that I look for my support and resistance, this is not what I will go into in this particular video. If you do want to know that, how I identify levels and what levels I particularly play at, please leave a comment below. Then I look at the intraday chart. Is there a possibility for a setup? Because that's the important part. You don't buy random stocks. No, it has to look good. You need to follow a clear setup. If in the pre-market I can identify a clear level, it should be either with a double top or a consolidation. If one of these criteria are met, I put it on my watch list. Then we go to step 3, when to enter. This is still a very easy step. With the support and resistance level, I first identify where are the short sellers. If I would be a short seller, I would do it at these particular points. Right now we found a stock that has on the daily chart room to run. It has volume. You identified a clear resistance level where short sellers will short the stock. And now we wait until the price moves up to that resistance level. And when the price is there, we want to buy the breakout. So we look at from the moment is it at the breakout. We look at level 2. We look at level 2 and bam! Sellers coming in, we buy the stock and poof, the stock shoots up. Now it doesn't work always as easy, and to master reading level 2 takes time, effort, practice. So especially for you, I have a second entry criteria. Most of the times it has a micro pullback. We want to buy this. How do you do that? Still criteria needs to be met. Volume is important. I use 2 particular indicators for that. Either the volume bar of this candle needs to be higher than the highest volume bar of the resistance. Or I look at the indicator of the Wise wave. The current Wise wave needs to be higher than the previous wave of the resistance. If those volume criteria are met, I also will enter in this trade. And now step 4. This is the hardest part, and this is the difference between profitable traders and non-profitable traders. Step 1 and 2 are very easy. Step 3 is okay. But step 4, you need to prepare for this. That's exiting the trade. When to exit the trade. First of all, risk management. Where do you place your stop loss? I place my stop loss 1 ATR to 2 ATRs below the resistance level. Most of the times, if these setups do not immediately work, they won't work. Don't hang on to them, exit. Look, what we have identified is when are the short sellers wrong, but what happens if they're right? Get out of the trade. Get out when it doesn't work. Remember step 1, we have identified the major resistance levels on the daily chart. Exactly. My take profit is the next major resistance level, and on my way there I scale out on every push, on every trade. I take a bit off the table, I skim off the top, I take some profits. Because I might think it goes to the next major resistance, but it doesn't always work that way. It doesn't. I have to give you 2 warnings with this strategy. First, you have to wait a lot. Wait for the right moment. You are a sniper. Your main job is to wait. Secondly, there won't be good stocks every day. If it's not a good day, then Just don't trade that day. That's perfectly fine. I will tell you the most important thing. A thing that no trading YouTuber so far has taught. I never seen this before. The truth is, if you just follow the strategy or any other strategy, you will lose money if you blindly implement it. You need to practice. You need to practice on paper, you need to practice small size, you need to practice reading, all the time practice. And you have to make the strategy your own. No strategy is ready out of the box. You have to adapt your strategy for your personality, for your risk tolerance, for the way you approach the market. I'm the person who likes to buy high, sell higher. But maybe you're the person who likes to buy low and sell high. Then this strategy is not for you. Take parts of it, take my scanners, take the entry requirements, take my exit requirements, and fit it to your needs. No strategy is ready out of the box. You have to practice and learn. Practice and learn.
The second thing you need to do, trade on paper. Never start trading with real money. If you're not capable and if you think that trading on paper is too boring, then I got bad news for you. If you trade good, if you trade the right way, trading is boring. If you're incapable of paper trading, then you might as well go to the casino, because you have better odds in succeeding there than succeeding in the stock market. Unfortunately, true. And only when you have consistently made money for 3 months in a row, put a small amount of money on the line. Because this is a thing, if you're impatient, if it's too boring, or you say like, hey, when it is not real money, then I cannot trade good, then I don't feel like I have skin in the market. Well, my friend, you're learning. And if you right now, you cannot be disciplined, what makes you think you can be disciplined when it counts? There's absolutely one thing everybody agrees on. You need a trading journal. You need to have your data. You can never learn, you can never improve if you do not measure your trades. You can never improve your mindset if you do not track your own emotions. There are patterns in your mistakes. There are patterns in your own emotions. And it's your opportunity to learn from the data. Because I can guarantee you one thing. You will make mistakes. You will lose money. But how do you get up? How can you learn from it? And if you can learn from your mistakes, that is where the key is to your success. And now we go to the most important facets of this video. It is building the trading mindset. Because trading psychology is the most important factor. But keep in mind, if you have not a good system, if you do not have an edge, if you do not have your rules clearly defined, if you do not prepare for your trading, trading psychology will not help you. First, all the technical factors need to be in place. And when you find yourself making the same mistake over again, that is where you need trading psychology. In trading, you do everything that goes against the human instinct.
Most traders fail because they let their emotions guide their decisions. They get greedy, they get fearful, they get impatient, they get overconfident. They don't follow their plan, they revenge trade, they chase their losses. They take unnecessary risks or miss opportunities. What if you could eliminate your negative emotions and the beliefs that are holding you back? How would you trade then? Well, that is exactly what I did, and I will show you now how. There are just 3 simple steps. First one is change your story. The second one is activate the flow state. And the third one, mental rehearsal. For each one, I will give you the explanation and how you can. When you want to change any behavior, any action, then it's not, I'm trying to do this, I will go do that. No, you have to become a different person. A great example is when smoking. If you try to quit smoking and you tell your surroundings and you tell yourself, I'm trying to quit smoking, that means you're still identifying yourself as a smoker. But from the moment you're telling yourself, I do not smoke, that is a powerful narrative. And in that way, you have to create a new identity. It is not what you're trying to do. What are you doing? And even if you're not doing at this point, even if you're still smoking, if you keep telling yourself that you're not a smoker, eventually you will create a new identity for yourself. The same principle is also used in sports psychology by Dr. Nate Zinsser. He makes athletes perform by changing their self-perception. If a runner is telling, I cannot perform under pressure, then Zinsser helps the runner to create a new narrative. And that new narrative is, I thrive in competitive environments. The essence is in creating a story that empowers you, that drives you, a narrative that persuades yourself that you're capable, that you're confident, and you're a consistent performer. The problem is that we often define ourselves by our shortcomings, and we're often very hard on ourselves. But if you change the narrative, when you keep on telling yourself that you're disciplined, eventually your behavior starts to adapt. Another great example is done by psychologist Kelly McGill in Oxford University. She did a study about stress. The people who believed that stress is bad for them, actually stress had a negative effect on their life. But the other group where they said the stress is good for you, those people who saw stress as something great, stress became great for their bodies. And in the same way, Dr. Nate Zinsser writes, all the arousal you experience, this is your amazing body that creates a natural drug for you. Your body knows exactly what you need and how much you need it. And if you start to embrace this arousal, to embrace the uncertainty, that is a tremendous effective way of changing your story. Instead of how will your life change if you believe that stress is good for you? How will your life change if you keep telling yourself that you're disciplined? How will your life change if you keep on telling yourself that you're patient? So here I have an exercise for you. Identify the qualities you want to embody. For example, I am patient. I wait for my setup to appear. Second one, I am in control of my emotions. When my stop loss gets triggered, I move on. This trait is just one of 1,000 traits. If you make your whole list of every attribute you want to have, read it every day, listen to it every day, eventually, when a moment is there, when you are in that situation, your behavior will also change. And I want to leave this section with one of my favorite words of Lao Tzu. Watch your thoughts because they become your words. Watch your words because they become your actions. Watch your actions because they become your habits. Watch your habits because they become your character. Watch your character because that becomes your destiny. By creating a new story for yourself, you unlock so much more potential that is inside of you. Now we'll move on to the second strategy. This is used by professional hypnotists like Darren Brown, but it's also used by the real Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort. This is a strategy that is based on neuro-linguistic programming, and it's called anchoring. You might already be aware of this phenomenon. Imagine, for example, a smell that reminds you of your childhood. And when you feel the smell, then your whole emotional state changes. When a song on the radio appears and that reminds you of your ex, and then you get this whole emotional feeling, this effect is just achieved by classical conditioning. You might be familiar with Pavlov, his experiments. Ring a bell, then give the dog food. Do it every time, then only you have to ring the bell and the dog will already create that saliva without the food. Now, you can train yourself in the same way by the power of using an anchor. You can do that with a particular sound, a particular movement, a particular smell. It doesn't really matter which one you use. There are actual special companies who create a smell for this reason. It's Boom Boom Energy. It's recommended by Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. And what Jordan Belfort is doing, when he needs to be in the zone, when he needs to be fired up, when he needs to be in the moment, he takes a smell, his state changes, and he's ready to go. Now, why is that? Because on the surface, this seems like some fake snake oil. But I will tell you why it works and how you can create it yourself without buying anything. But imagine this first. If you can just smell something, all of a sudden your state is ready to go, to be in the zone, to be fired up, to go. How great would that be? A certain smell is just meaningless at the surface. You have to give it meaning first. That is with the power of mental rehearsal. You first have to imagine that state that you want to be in. Imagine trading to your plan. Imagine yourself taking the optimal trades and being patient and being disciplined. Give yourself music that brings you to the state. And whenever you're in the state, you can link it to a particular smell. One thing I like to do is just imagine myself trading. Imagine myself doing the right thing every time. Imagine myself in this optimal scenario. Listen to music that brings me there. And when I reach that state, I clench my fists. This clenching of my fist is now associated with this heightened feeling, with this flow state. And every time I feel myself already in the flow state, I also clench my fists. Whenever you're in that state, keep on programming your mind. So then whenever you need it, you can use your anchor to come in that flow state again. And then your neural pathways link that flow state with your ritual that you do, with the smell, with the sound, with the clenching of your fist. And then the last and the third tool is mental rehearsal. But you don't have to take my word for it. A Stanford study on skiers, researchers found that mental rehearsal prepares our minds for the real-world action. Skiers who mentally rehearsed their routine showed improved performers, suggesting that the brain learns physical tasks even without actual movement. University of Chicago free throw study. Dr. Basietto conducted an experiment with 3 groups of people. The first group practiced free throws, the second group only visualized making free throws, and the third did nothing. After 30 days, the first group improved by 24%, while the second group improved by 23% without physically touching a basketball. Visualization technique for athletes. Studies have shown that athletes can improve both physical and psychological reactions in certain situations with visualization. Mental rehearsal trains the mind and body to perform skills imagined. Olympians and mental imagery. Research indicates that visualization can improve performance by up to 45%. The more mental repetition performed, the better the athlete becomes at the task, demonstrating the power of visualization in sports psychology. So if you can imagine yourself in a scenario, in a trade, keep on practicing in your mind. Have a very clear visualization of your setups, of when to take profit, of where you put your stop loss, how you are patient, how you are disciplined. Keep on training your mind, keep on creating these neural pathways, and then use an anchor. Visualization isn't just wishful thinking. It is actual practice. And in this actual practice, a part of that is visualize difficult scenarios. Visualize where you make the most mistake. Where do you get emotional? Where do you get greedy? Where do you abandon your plan? When does that happen? And then imagine that scenario there and really feel the emotions and feel what you're going through. How do you feel in those situations? You will practice for the difficult scenarios. You will practice for an uncertain market. You will practice for unforeseen volatility in your mind. It is about mentally preparing for inevitable unpredictability of the market. What will you do when your setups don't work out? What will you do when your stop loss gets hit time after time? What will you do if the trade goes right to your take profit and just crashes down? What will you do in those situations? If you mentally prepare for the things that are difficult for you, then eventually, after all this preparation, you know what to do when the situation is there. You know what to do in difficult situations. As the studies show, visualization is not some wishful thinking. It actually creates new neural pathways in your brain. It actually improves your performance if you use these tools correctly.
Yes. So if you want to start right now, where should you begin? Find a strategy, shop around, look for different YouTube videos, search for future trading, stock trading, Forex, look for different approaches to the market. And if you found that approach and truly study it, but keep in mind, it is important to become an expert in one specific thing. Because every time you switch strategies, you start from zero again. Take the time before you start to explore something that suits you to explore different areas of financial freedom, because it's very possible that trading might not be for you. This is not just an endeavor for anyone. It takes time and dedication. There is no easy money in the markets. And if this video was in any way useful for you, then you have to check out this one, because this will set you up truly for success. See you there.